In the Dou Zhe world, strength is everything. Every individual has potential that can be developed through hard training and extraordinary determination. The cultivation system, in battle through the heavens, is the key to reaching higher levels of strength. And within it there are many stages that shows how far a person can master the power in the body. In this video, we will discuss in detail the levels of cultivation in the Dou Zhe world, from the most basic to the highest level that only a few people can reach. So, let's get started. The cultivation system, in battle through the heavens, is divided into levels, each bringing major changes in cultivators' physical abilities, spiritual abilities, and fighting techniques. Each level not only affects physical strength, but also opens up access to a variety of new abilities and techniques. Let's explore each of these levels. 1. Dou Zhi Qi, Dou Disciple. The first level in the Dou Zhe cultivation system is Dou Zhi Qi, or Dou Disciple, which is the basic stage that almost everyone in this world has. At this level, an individual has just begun to master the energy in their body. They can use Dou Zhi to strengthen their bodies, but are still very limited in fighting abilities and using special techniques. For a beginner, achieving Dou Zhi Qi is the first step towards strength. However, despite being at this stage, many people still feel hampered and shackled by existing limitations. This is a level that almost everyone has, but for those who want to advance further, they must train hard to surpass this limitation. Dou Zhi Qi practitioners must pass from 1 to 9 stars before they can break through to Dou Zhi. 2. Dou Zhi, Dou Practitioner. After mastering Dou Zhi Qi, a cultivator could step into the Dou Zhi or Dou Practitioner level. Practitioners at this stage are already able to control the Dou Zhi within their bodies. They can use Dou Zhi to strengthen their physical attacks and increase their defense. At this level, cultivators also had to pass 1 to 9 stars before breaking through to the next level. 3. Dou Shi. Next is the Dou Shi, or Dou Master stage. At this stage, the practitioner's Dou Zhi is strong enough to form a Dou Zhi barrier around their body. This shield can be used to repel attacks and reduce the damage taken. Manipulating Dou Zhi into an energy cloak that adheres to the body is the characteristic of a Dou Shi. This energy cloak not only strengthens the owner's defense, speed, and attack, but also increases the absorption of energy from the surrounding environment so that the energy expended during battle will be replaced. Therefore, almost every Doushi's first action during a fight was to summon this Dou Zhi cloak. After breaking through the 9-star Dou Shi, practitioners can break through to Dou Shi. 4. Dou Shi. After reaching the Dou Shi, or Dou Grandmother level, a cultivator could form Dou Zhi weapons or equipment. These weapons and equipment can greatly increase the practitioner's attack power and defense. At this stage, practitioners can make armor from Dou Zhi like in Zi Yan's fight against Nalan Yanren in the series Battle Trough the Heavens, 3-year agreement. Just like before, Dou Shi also requires 9 stars to break through to Dou Ling. 5. Dou Ling. After breaking through Dou Shi, a cultivator can step into the Dou Ling or Dou Spirit level. At this stage, one can already use Dou Zhi more effectively, allowing them to increase their physical abilities and fight more efficiently. Dou Ling is a level that indicates that a person is beginning to gain a deeper understanding of the energy in their body. An example of this is Zi Yan. When he mastered Dou Ling, he started to be able to compete with fighters of higher levels and developed more advanced fighting techniques, although still far from the peak. Dou Ling is an important milestone in every cultivator's journey. Dou Zhe at this stage has solidified and can be applied to other objects to increase their power and function. Dou Ling practitioners can use Dou Zhe to strengthen their weapons, increase their movement speed, or even heal wounds and create wings even for a moment. Dou Ling practitioners must pass through the 1 to 9 star stages to be able to break through to the next level. 6. Dou Wang. Next there is Dou Wang or Dou King, which is a quite prestigious cultivation realm. At this level, a cultivator was able to form Dou Zhe wings and attract Dou Zhe around him. Although the number is not very large, it can still be useful in battle. In the Jiama Kingdom, Dou Wang was a fairly high and respected level. Dou Wang practitioners even had the ability to occupy strategic positions like sect elders. All the elders in the Yunlan sect, for example, were Dou Wangs, including Yunlang. While within the confinement of the fallen heart flame, Ziyan also managed to break through to the Dou Wang level. He began to form blue Dou Zhe wings to replace his purple eagle wings. Just like Dou Ling, Dou Wang practitioners also have to pass through the 9-star stage before they can break through to the Dou Huang realm. 7. Dou Huang. After passing the Dou Wang level, a cultivator would enter the Dou Huang or Dou Emperor level. This level is the point where the practitioner truly becomes very strong. A Dou Huang can draw on a large amount of Dou Zhe from the surrounding area. Even though Dou Huang and Dou Wang both had Dou Zhe wings, what differentiated them was the intensity of their color. The Dou Huang wings looked brighter. A Dou Huang like the 7-star Hai Bo Dong was able to fight for Dou Wangs at once, and Ling Ying was even able to destroy the Yunlan sect's formation. Yun Yun, who was once the head of the Yunlan sect, had also reached the Dou Huang level and became one of the strongest 10 most feared people in the Jiama Empire. The Dou Huang levels start from 1 to 9 stars, then peak Dou Huang, and the maximum is half-step Dou Zong. 8. Dou Zong. A Dou Zong or Dou Ancestor level cultivator could be considered a peak figure in most small clans. A Dou Zong had the ability to use the mysterious spatial power to do things like levitate in the air or even create space that could be entered. However, this method consumed a large amount of Dou Zhe. At this stage, a Dou Zong's strength was already at the extreme level. A battle between Dou Zong practitioners could leave space-tearing depending on how big the clash of forces was. They could freely manipulate heaven and earth energy and initially control spatial power, achieving spatial distortion and spatial locking. High-level Dou Zongs could comprehend some basic spatial powers. Their bodies underwent a transformation, with a thin layer of Dou Zhe crystals covering their meridians and even their bones. The operation of their thick Dou Zhe could cause changes in the surrounding space, and their movements could create spatial vibrations. High-level Dou Zongs could influence the heaven and earth energy with their Dou Zhe. Queen Medusa, who had reached the Dou Zong level, also utilized spacetime to high. His true Dou Zong strength could already be said to be at an extreme level. We can see that when Yun Shan, who is already at the 2-star level, appears. Every step of his foe is able to compress the air and produce a powerful blow. When Yun Shan fought Ziyan and Yao Lao, the momentum created when their attacks met even tore apart the void. Yun Shan also did not even flinch against the two Dou Huang combination of Hai Bo Dong and Ling Ying. Dou Zongs could also leave a trace of their soul behind when they were killed. With this glimmer of soul, they can be resurrected using a special method. 9. Dou Zun. After breaking through the Dou Zong barrier, a cultivator could be called a Dou Zun. At this level, it is a little more difficult and complicated. This stage is divided into 3 levels, namely Dou Zun, Dou Zun Dai and Fun Peak Dou Zun, and Ban Shan. And in each of these stages there are several star levels that must be passed. A Dou Zun or Dou Venerate had almost perfect ability and knowledge of spatial power that was more versatile than a Dou Zong. This class is characterized by the ability to form wormholes, rifts in spacetime. This stage consists of 1 to 9 stars. Once someone reaches the 9-star Dou Zun, then the cultivator is called a peak Dou Zun. When he was at the peak of Dou Zun, the Dou Qi within his body was already full and could no longer increase. Then a peak Dou Zun can create a new space. This new space was then filled with new Dou Qi. This compaction and compression process counts as one cycle. The amount of Dou Qi required for each cycle is equivalent to the Dou Qi of a 1 to 9 star Dou Zun. So in simple terms, someone transforms a new space as a place to store their Dou Qi. When the first chamber was completely filled with Dou Qi, a peak Dou Zun would create a new second chamber to fill it again, and so on until a maximum of 9 cycles. In the 10th cycle, a person will experience a qualitative change. This is called Ban Sheng or half-saint. When they first entered the saint realm, even though they were half-saints, they could still call themselves saints. They were far superior to Dou Zun and could create spatial jade slips. The Ban Sheng level is also divided into 3 levels, namely low level, intermediate, and advanced level. 10. Dou Sheng. Next there is Dou Sheng or Dou Saint, which is a very high level of strength that can only be achieved by a select few. Dou Sheng practitioners have the ability to open up a separate world and control the Dou Qi within it. They are also nearly invulnerable to attack, and their power can destroy cities and mountains. A characteristic of a 6-star Dou Sheng was spatial relocation, which allowed them to construct a chaotic space for battle. After reaching 7-star, a Dou Sheng can utilize the separate world he created to become a world itself that is real and livable, like the Gu realm shown during the Gu Zona scene. Whereas a 9-star Dou Sheng could trigger energy waves with their Dou Qi, and their peak bloodline began to mutate. In the Dou Sheng stage, practitioners must go through 1 to 9 stars, and for each star there are 3 stages, namely the beginning, intermediate, and final. Those whose Dou Qi had reached the peak of the 9-star Dou Sheng and whose soul had reached the D state were referred to as half-step Dou Di. In ancient times, the concept of Dou Di half-step did not exist. Back then, once a powerful individual reached the peak of Dou Sheng and absorbed enough origin Qi, they could attempt to break through to the Dou Di realm. However, now that the origin Qi had been drained, many powerful individuals were forced to remain at the peak of Dou Sheng. Figures like Gu Yuan, Hun Tiandi, Zi Zhuan, Yellow Spring Demon Saint, and Pure Lotus Demon Saint were all known as half-step Dou Di. 11. Dou Di. Okay guys, we are entering the last level in the BTTH series, namely the Dou Di or Dou God realm. Dou Di practitioners have the ability to absorb the origin Qi of heaven and earth, causing qualitative changes in Dou Qi, and can transform the soul to the D level. With a single thought, they could change the heavens and the earth, destroy mountains and rivers, and the aftermath of their battle could instantly kill a peak Dou Sheng. They stood above the heavens and the earth, able to prevent Dou Shengs from manipulating the heaven and earth energy. They have the ability to change their own bloodlines, benefiting their descendants and reviving entire clans with their power. Those with the bloodline did not need to face any obstacles before reaching the Ban Sheng level. They can absorb the energy of the heavens and the earth into their bodies, forming a huge Dou Di body, with a power capable of destroying the heavens. They are the most powerful beings in the BTTH world. At this stage, a Dou Di was like a god who possessed absolute power. So, that's an explanation of the 11 levels of cultivation in the battle through the heavens world. Each level brings greater and greater abilities, and each cultivator's journey is full of challenges. The highest attainment, namely Dou Di, is a legend in their world. Hopefully this video helps you understand more deeply about the world of battle through the heavens. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. If this explanation is incomplete or there is something wrong, please comment below. See you in the next video.